Alrighty, so we ended up getting a small little bullish leg from Bitcoin over the last 2 days. I am now zoomed in and looking at where are we stopping, what are we looking at next, because what I do see is I see on the left side of the corner here, I see a massive gap. You know when something moves really fast in one direction, and we know when it's fast, it does not last. And what tends to happen is when we reverse it, as fast as we went down the one side, we can continue, we can do the same, the opposite side. And this could be something called a short squeeze. Now, everyone, we know the major trend line we're on right now. We're on the major trend line, probably the biggest trend line of 2022, and it could possibly end up being the biggest one if we do break that area. I'm going to go through that with you guys. But one thing that's very important is we have tons of bears. The guys that want to ruin the fun. You know, the same guys that's been full of shit the whole year, and the guys that have been ruining our little pumps. Yeah, those guys. They're all sitting here, and they don't want it to happen. And what tends to happen here is there's tons and tons and tons of shorts lined up in this area, and they have to put a stop loss somewhere. You know, they just the same with us. If we're thinking the market's going up, we buy, we put a stop loss, we protect ourselves. They got to put a stop loss too. And their stop losses, for me, make sense that they're all sitting in this area over here because we're on that trend line right now. If we go above that trend line, we break trend, and we know volume comes in, and we know the market tends to explode. So this is the last chance for the bears to sort of have control if we are going to get a really strong bullish leg. And we're at that point right now. And what happens is if we break that area, all their stop losses trigger. And a stop loss means that it buys back into the market. So it will buy, and that's all of a sudden, you've seen it many times. As soon as the market breaks a specific area, all of a sudden, it just shoots and you get this massive green candle. That stop loss is going through. That's how it triggers all the way up. So we have a potential area of a big short squeeze coming our way. And we need to know what is that area. We're getting a slight pullback now. If we make a higher low on this pullback, and we have an oversold RSI over here, for me, it is thumbs up. We're going to go attempt that trend line again. And we all know if we break that trend line, how great the end of the year. I'm not saying all-time highs, but I'm saying we can finally make some damn money again. So no more wasting time. James, smash that button!
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? If you're new, smash Will Smith that subscribe button and the like button. Same if you're part of the community, smash that like, guys. What's up? Hope you're all having a fantastic day out there. We got to be positive, guys. We got to be positive. We got to keep the blood flowing. I can't be, is this going to happen again? Is it this? Like, you know, I can't have that energy. I need to be ready. We fight our asses off on these charts all the damn time for that moment. For that one trade. And that is the beauty of this game. It shakes out the weak, and the strong make money over time. It's just how it works, and it's how it's always going to continue working. So join the community, guys. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Sheldon_Sniper. Make sure you're following all of our social media platforms. I'll go through this very quickly. I need to get into the action and get into what's happening. Remember, guys, we have a fantastic Discord. You'll find this below. We got a VIP section. That's where you get many trades from me. Short-term trades, medium-term, long-term trades, sometimes leverage trades, but the markets are great. I need the markets to be better than this just to make sure we're at that trend so we can, you know, we have to snipe those little 1% stop losses, and it gets quite tough. So you want a market that can allow that and make it a lot easier for you. So a lot is coming that way. In order to become a VIP, you got to be using one of our sign-up links. This is your exchange, so it just means you sign up on one of our exchange links. You trade as normal, doesn't cost you anything. It does support the channel, and it does allow you to get bonuses. You can see you got a massive $5 bonus on Binance. It's bear market. Let's not be stingy. Any money matters right now. You get up to 8,000 sign up bonus and trading bonus on BitGet with 15% discounts. We got BYBIT as well. I know the trading competition is starting soon as well, so get that signed up and get it ready. Can we hear me? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, sorry guys. Our power went out. In South Africa, we got something called load shedding, and that just happened. Let's see if I can get my camera back on board. I'm back, but I'm weird as hell. So maybe restart that while I restart my camera, please, bro. Wrong camera's on here. Let's get it back. No, Sniper did not get sniped. We got load shedding. We unfortunately in a country that affects that. So maybe restart it there, Kylie. And we can get going. Has it been restarted?
Yeah.
Okay. Bear with me 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. Come on. James, you're going to have to play another song there, bro. I have to log off and come back on.
It's cool. I can just cut all this out later. It'll be like it never happened.
Okay, like it never happened. Sniper out. Play us a song, bro. Play us a song.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
I'm back. What's up? I'm still here. You can't get rid of me that easy. You can't do it. So you guys, any of the signups, we've got the competition coming up. Let's see what is happening here right now. I want to see what's happening. Ooh, GMX. Be careful with this. I know it's pumping very much, but it's got a Binance listing coming up now shortly. So just be aware of that. Possibly a pump and dump scheme happening over here. They like to do it, sell the event, but it is doing really well. What's happened in the last day? Not too much. Now, does that confuse us? Why there's not too much happening right now? No, we're at the biggest trend of the year. We're at that area where now everything's slowing down and waiting for Bitcoin. Wish that never happened. Waiting for Bitcoin to make its decision and give us a clear direction of what we actually need to happen. So I'm going to show you guys a few tokens here, and the way I'm working this on the short time frame. I think the 4 hour is beautiful because we had a really strong leg on the 4 hour. Really strong leg over here. Nice bullish leg. And all that we want to see is we have secured our first higher high. Beautiful. Now, what we are seeing is we had a little bit of rejection at the major trend line. Doesn't mean it's not over. Guys, this is a very hard trend line to get through. It's a very strong point that the bears are trying to hold whatever they can. And that's why I know their stop losses are near. We've seen this many times. So if there is a short-term pullback here, we are basically waiting to see that we get the higher low. This support trend line that I have over here will give me that direction. We hold this trend line. We have the RSI make its way down to oversold. We A in away. I'm making sure I'm in because we're going to go attempt that trend line again. And we know if we break this, we have a very big gap. Now, let me actually jump into the chart here that I want to show you guys. There we go. So the bears right now, you want to paint a picture of where we're at. The bears want to send us straight back to bottom range, if not lower. So from here, they've been having a lot of fun by just trading the range. Bears are always shorting this area over here. You can see, and they're trying to do the exact same thing that we're sitting at right now. So they want to get it up here. It's a continuous fight that we've seen over the last few weeks of bulls holding price here, bears selling off over here. And it's just been this range fight. So we know nothing's changed. They're still trying to hold and still trying to fight the same position. So they want price to get here. Okay. Now, in order for that to happen, they have to hold this major trend line. They got to hold the major trend because they know how volume comes in. And like these things, don't ask me why, but a trend line's always been beautiful with that. It always gets the right volume. And when we need, it just comes in automatically and all of a sudden through these areas. So they know how critical it is here. So for them, stop it now. This is where we got to basically cause it. Now, in order for them to take shorts, they got to protect themselves too. There's big players here. This is Bitcoin. This is not something else. This is a lot of money that's sitting on the line here. They got to put stops in play. And for me, they're putting stops outside of that trend line because they know the gap over here as well. So what would happen over here is we got the two different scenarios in the short-term frame that we're playing, okay? We have, let me actually jump and show you guys exactly the two short-term plays. These are the plays over here for me. Okay. Now, until support trend line is invalidated, something like that, this is exactly what we're looking at. And this is, remember, you've got to stick to the analysis that you're seeing. So we got RSI that's going to make its way down, and I got this trend line. So we get rejection here. I'm working on scenario 1. We get rejection here. We make our way down to the 618. So I took my fib from down here to the top, and it gave me the major 618. Okay. That's a healthy retracement. We've had a strong leg up. I want to know, where are we still healthy? We come back to this area. If we hold that and we get this RSI over here, we're going to attempt the trend line again, which is a good sign. So for me, I want to be in over here for that attempt because I know how major that trend line is. Now, if we get through that trend line and we break through and we go above the 20K 500, that's where I see the start of the short squeeze, where I see acceleration. Right now, it grew really well until we got to a specific area, slowed down. But as soon as we hit here, when those stops go through, remember, what is a stop loss order? It's them. They're in dollars right now. They think the market's going to go down, right? But if they put a stop loss, it's actually a buy order. So what it means is if it goes to their stop loss, it buys them back in the market so that they don't lose too much Bitcoin. Ultimately, they're trying to sell their Bitcoin here and buy it back here. By them doing that, they're able to accumulate Bitcoin in this area. At every time that they can sell and Bitcoin goes down 15% and they can buy back, they're building 15% more Bitcoin. Now, if you start to identify how powerful these guys are, every time they are panicking us out, they are farming Bitcoin, and they're just building their Bitcoin bags. And this is why we are not seeing much movement in the market, but we're seeing volume go up and we're seeing all these things go up, especially on Binance. We can see a lot of this happening. And that's purely because of that. They're accumulating and shaking out the market so well. So for me, this is where the squeeze happens. So we come down here, we hold this level, which is basically the 19,400 sort of area. And from that, we then go attempt to break the trend line again. And that area for me, the 20. So basically, if we break that trend, I want to try to get my positions in as full as possible. By the time we break this, I want to be in. I don't want to have to add in the short squeeze starts and we start this big acceleration up. It's going to become really messy and really hard. So my ultimate goal is to build my position to make sure that I'm not rushing. I'm making sure that my RSI, I know there's a little bit of downtime here, loading up, building my position so that by the time we can get to that area, my positions are in. Once we start the squeeze and we start to get the strong acceleration up, I can come and pop my stop losses here at entry. And in a way, I'm happy. If it's meant to be and we're meant to rock it now, I'm sitting right at the bottom. I'm secure. I got my risk management in place and we start to move from there. Now, the second scenario is this high was not high enough for me. This is for me and what the chart is saying as well. There will be a pullback. There's always a pullback after a big leg. The difference here is maybe the high wasn't in just yet. Now, there is a scenario where this can play out like this, where this goes up, it shoots through, the squeeze happens, then we get a pullback, and then we can continue. That is a possibility, definitely. And that would only determine if this high was the high that they wanted to get in. Maybe they want it higher. Maybe they want to get through this first and break these walls. Then we only get a pullback. So very important to be aware of that this, I would say there's a 50% chance of this happening right now, and there's 50-50 in my opinion. That either we break through or we start to move. Now, I'm going to show you how I'm actually trading that. So the second scenario is we go from here, we break through, small test, and then we shoot through. And we're basically the same way that we did this acceleration over here is the same way that we'll do the acceleration over here. Now, you remember those patterns that we've seen many times in the market where we go up and we form the Bart, the Bart Simpson, and then we come down. Like we've seen that many times. Now you get that the same way on the way down. You get it down, it forms the head, and just as fast as it went up the one side, down the one side, it goes up the other side. So be aware that this could be this pattern over here playing out, where we have a Bart Simpson, shoots up here, eyeball, and then it starts to break the lows. So break the next high areas. And I want to show you a pure example of what a short squeeze or something like that happens. And that's very clear to the previous move that we had, which is here, where the bears were continuously dropping the markets in the area and they were holding. What would happen if they were shorting from that area? They got their stop losses And you see what happens as this makes its way down. As soon as we break that trend, trigger. And you see how we shoot all the way up. And that's the same way with the bulls here. We're making our way up. These guys are busy moving their stop losses up because Bitcoin's going up. All of a sudden, market dumps, trigger. And it hits all the stop losses, boom. And that's why you start to identify these big move candles and why it moves so fast at times. It's stop losses. It's these areas with the bigger bags. Makes sense, right, guys? We always see these massive moves and these big ass candles forming all over the place. It's nice to actually understand that it's just other guys' orders and it's just stop losses and it's just these things. And that's the same area of where we're at right now. So I just wanted to give you that example. Now, not only on Bitcoin am I seeing the squeeze, I'm starting to see it on many altcoins as well. So if Bitcoin squeezes here, let's quickly have a look, 2 seconds. Before I jump into ETH, let's quickly have a look at the dominance. Still on the spike up right now, very much. So it's obviously showing still love for Bitcoin and where it's at right now. In my opinion, this would be going down today if we weren't going to break, like if Bitcoin's not trying to break that trend. It would be going down. Why would we continue to have power up here? If Bitcoin's meant to reverse here, right? Why would they not be turning this down and protecting alts at these times or like doing these things the same way they've been doing previously? But no, we're just seeing continuation of dominance going up. Bitcoin. So for me, that is another positive sign, is that we have continuous eyes on Bitcoin and that dominance is continuing to go up through the time, which is usually a really good sign. One thing that was nice was a nice little stock market bounce. First higher high, boom, great. Now what do we have? RSI coming down. Can this make a higher low? If it does, it's a good indication we're going to chase a higher high after that. So that's a great sign. Dixie coming down pretty hard on my trend line right now. Very, very, very important trend line. If we have a look here, important trend line. The dollar can drop that and we can get this play out here. That can be a really good sign for us. So it does make sense that we are getting a little bounce in the dollar right now as we speak, because it is bouncing on that support trend. But ideally what I'm looking at here is a lower high and break of that trend. That's what we would need for Bitcoin to hit that 24K area that we're looking at. And same with this. Same with this as well. I want to see lower high in this area. You can see it's in line of where I was speaking about here. And let's get the 10-year yield down to where it needs to be. So if we're looking at Bitcoin and we're looking at the squeeze, we're starting to see the same thing with the other altcoins. So if I jump onto the 4 hours, you can see RSI is high. We did make a higher high on ETH. Same high actually, which is still good. It can mean an inverse head and shoulders. And the bears want to bring it down here. If they do bring it down here and we do have a higher low, it's a good indication for me on ETH. And where the squeeze happens for me is this area over here. So very similar like I showed you on Bitcoin is this trend over here. And if we break through here and we break the horizontal, this horizontal point here, there's the gap for me. All this gap over here. And we will see the short squeeze from ETH from the region of $1,400 to $1,600. Guys, this is a big squeeze. It's not a small squeeze we're talking about. We're looking at a 16, 17%. If all plays out well and we break this trend and we do get the squeeze, we should see a day. Remember when there was a day where Bitcoin was 10, 12%, ETH was 14%, MATIC 20%. These ones, like, we can't deny that out. And if it does happen, we got to be ready for it. So I'm seeing the same thing with the altcoins. Worst scenario, we pull back, I make a higher low, I'm entering the market. Okay? The best way to do that is we come down here, we hold this level, RSI gets to the bottom, great sign for me, I'm looking in. Same with a lot of the other tokens. Same with MATIC. MATIC's ripping, completely making higher lows. It has not tested the area that it broke out yet. So support resistance. We break the previous point, we come back, we test. If we hold this trend and this RSI gets down to the bottom, we've been speaking about MATIC on high time frames. I've been going through it. The higher time frames look extremely good on MATIC. So same thing. Not really a crazy amount. You can see the short squeeze area here for me is this area here. So I'm focusing on getting this buy area up here. And I think later on, you can see it turned in the perfect. We break through here. The short squeeze can basically happen. But either way, Bitcoin gets the short squeeze and market moves. I'm still seeing, a 1.4, a 1 point, these higher time frame areas I'm seeing on MATIC. I'm just focusing on that damn entry. I want that entry. Same with Solana. Solana, hold that entry, hold that horizontal line, higher low, RSI to the bottom, I'm hitting strong. There's my short squeeze area. So I'm not promised, this one's nearby, it's not too far. Around the 32.5, and that is my areas. Basically, what I want to see here is this come down, slow down for a little bit, get the RSIs reset, and then continue the momentum and start to move the next way up. But for me, around the 35.2 sort of area from Solana is the short squeeze area. And you can see this gap. You see how big the gap is on the left? There's the gap over there. And I'm expecting that once we break that level, we start to get stop loss hits and we start to get this big movement up. So it's nice that not only on Bitcoin, we are seeing this on many of the altcoins. So it just shows again, dominance is with Bitcoin right now, and Bitcoin may be the first one that runs, but you got to stay focused on accumulating the right tokens at these points and getting your entries. It may come a little bit later than Bitcoin, but their squeezes are next. So if you look here, same thing with RUNE. Here's the big squeeze over here, and you can see it's a really nice one too. So I'm looking at the 618 for RUNE at this area to get some short-term positions in. RSI make its way down, higher low, great. And from here, I'll see us go up and short squeeze, start to get a strong momentum up to those areas. So RUNE is the next focus for me on that. BNB, BNB as well, broken major trends. If we get a higher low here, I want to be in BNB. Looks really good. And I've gone through many of these as well throughout the time. Even algo. So algo is one of the ones where we're not picking the bottoms. We're actually looking for this trend line. It's one that's looking really strong. So Bitcoin starts to squeeze and it starts to break out, or any of these sort of things. This trend line is the one that I want to catch and break a trend, buy, stop loss under. As we make higher highs, higher lows, I'm moving that stop loss up as we basically move. So guys, to recap everything here, there is a pullback still in play. My validation zone is around 19K. If Bitcoin breaks 19K, all we're doing is the same thing we've been doing. We go back to 18, 17, the same sort of thing. So there is an area of a continuation pullback here. Then we got the second play of us breaking out here and starting the squeeze. Be aware of the squeeze, guys. It's beautiful to see it in action and actually understand why it's happening. And if you can learn the skill of this one, you'll see it many times in the future of when it is a critical area for you to be ready with. Another little tool that we'll play with going forward is that if we in these areas here, like if you take a short here, right, it might be a good short or anything like that if we do get rejected, and you put your stop loss here, you can also put another buy-in stop loss above that. So if it breaks through, it actually stops you out and buys you into a trade. So instead of picking where it is, you're basically waiting for the area to break. It's another really cool strategy that we can focus on as well. So guys, let's give it today. I'm going to get back to shooting school. Quick show for you guys. Get ready for it if it does come. Otherwise, worst scenario, we start pulling back. We look if we hold support tomorrow and we get back to the damn action. Let's kick ass. Let's do things. Let's continue this. Come on. Let's just keep the momentum up and let's stay positive and let's kick ass out there. I'll see you all on tomorrow's show or later today. We'll let you know. Much love, Banter fam. I'm still live.